It's Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Keep sharing these videos, ladies and gentlemen. Keep blasting them on your social media. Keep waking people up. We are really spiraling out of control. Now, I want to get right into it today. There's a few things that I noted here. I've got some notes, got some articles. Comment on all of this. I love the comments. Most people love the comments. Most of you know about this petrodollar situation that occurred Sunday, June 9th. The 50-year-old petrodollar agreement between Saudi Arabia and the U.S. Expired. And it is not going to be renewed. So it was allowed to expire. It will not be renewed. And this is just another reminder to all of us that things are moving very quickly. Somebody commented yesterday, what are you going to do with this gold if things get bad? What are you going to do with US dollars if things get bad? That's my question to you. This right here is why I bought gold yesterday, because of this expiration of the petrodollar agreement. 50 years old. It is now expired, and we'll talk a little bit about this. I don't have the answers here. Nobody's really talking about it on Fox Business, CNBC, the financial channels. There is very little talk about what is going on, and it really hasn't had any effect on markets or metals yet. But will it is the question. I think it will, because this is another reminder to all of us that countries across the world are moving away from the dollar. They're dumping dollars. You see Japan dumping bonds, China dumping bonds. The world has seen the weaponization of the US dollar. We're already threatening China with sanctions if they get involved with Taiwan. So they're dumping more bonds. That's inflationary for us, not good for your dollar. Somebody said, oh, the dollar's stronger than ever. Are you kidding me? It's lost 98% of its purchasing power. And this is not going to help it whatsoever. But, you know, the person that asked yesterday, what are you going to do with the gold? Well, I'm going to do a lot more with gold than I am the US dollar, that's for sure, because gold hasn't lost 98% of its purchasing power. Ask yourself why it takes so many more dollars to buy that barbarous yellow relic called gold. We are no doubt losing our dominance, and without the petrodollar, we're going to lose a lot of our power and influence across the world. So just a few notes here. You know, think about what this means. And I don't know when this is going to really show effect here in America, but at some point, this is going to possibly put an enormous strain on the U.S. banking system. I believe this is going to be very inflationary. This could lead to much higher taxes. This could affect the national deficit. This is going to no doubt affect your purchasing power at some point. It is going to affect the value of the US dollar, and in return will affect your purchasing power. How about buying things from other countries? It's going to be more expensive to buy things from other countries. We are losing our power, ladies and gentlemen. Saudi Arabia does not have allegiance to America. It has allegiance to the BRIC nations. I know Dave Ramsey months ago laughed, scoffed at it, that, you know, nothing can stop the US dollar. This whole BRICS thing is fantasy land. Well, he's going to find out, like millions of other people, that this is very serious. We just saw a huge move here with what Saudi Arabia has done. This was very interesting. I read this today. Saudi Arabia has announced its involvement in Project Enbridge, a project which explores a multi-central bank digital currency platform shared among participating central banks and commercial banks. It is built on distributed ledger technology, also known as DLT. This enables cross-border payments, settlements, and foreign exchange transactions. I mean, there's a new financial system going up right now as America sits here and just says, this is no big deal. A lot of people saying this isn't even happening. It's already happened. It happened on Sunday. 26 members are in this bridge. 26 members. You have, just to name a few, Bank of Israel, Bank of France, Central Bank of Bahrain, the Central Bank of Egypt, the European Central Bank, and many, many others. 26 members right now, to be exact, and more coming. I don't know about you, but I don't think this is going to do any favors for the US dollar. I don't think this is going to do any favors for Americans' purchasing power. I don't think it does any favors for America's world superpower dominance. It is beginning to crumble, ladies and gentlemen. And so, as I do think you need to still own some dollars right now, I would be looking at other options for sure. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that believe that, somebody wrote yesterday that, what are you talking about? The economy's doing great. You need to stop being so fearful. Well, first off, I'm not fearful. I have security. I have hard tangible assets. I have skills. I have zero debt. So I'm not fearful. I think you should be fearful. Because you're very ignorant, because you have no idea what's going on. If you think that because the stock market is up at nearly all-time highs, which we had to sacrifice the U.S. economy and the dollar in order to do it, because we had to pump in $7, $8, $10 trillion into the economy over the health crisis. We kept rates at 0% since the 2008 financial crisis. We kept rates at nearly zero for over a decade. We had the Fed buying mortgage-backed securities in a housing bubble to inflate the housing bubble even more. So we have all this printed money. We told people to stay at home, don't work, you don't have to make a mortgage payment, you don't have to pay rent, go out and buy stuff. How is it looking now, ladies and gentlemen? But yet somebody will say that, oh, the stock market's bullish, so the economy is doing well. Have you really taken a look at the economy? Tell me why there are so many vacant buildings in this booming economy. Tell me why 80% of this country is working paycheck to paycheck if the economy is booming. Tell me why over 10 million people have more than two jobs or more, some up to 4 jobs if the economy is booming. The economy is booming. We have 44 million people on food stamps. We have people that cannot even afford to buy a house at this point that are making decent money. That used to be decent money. It is no longer decent money. We have people running up massive amounts of credit card debt just because they have to put gas in their car, go to the grocery store, and pay their rent. And without credit cards, they would probably be homeless at this point. But this is what some people call a booming, bullish economy because the stock market is doing so well. I'm glad that the top 10% are doing well, but what about the other 90%? But there's people out there that just believe that everything's fine, everything's going to be fine. What are you talking about? I'm doing really, really well. People say I'm doing well, so who cares about everybody else? If I'm doing well, then the economy's doing great. But again, credit card debt at all-time highs, 80% living paycheck to paycheck. You've got a $1.5 trillion deficit. You've got the national debt now almost at $35 trillion. Savings rate, 3.6%. People are so much in debt. They're drowning in debt at this point. They're never going to be able to buy a house. Their cars are being repossessed. Yet, because maybe you're doing well, you just believe that the country's doing well. Take a look out your window, and not just at yourself, and take a look at what's happening in the real world. Step out of your bubble. Step out, of this bubble you're living in, this fantasy land that you're living in, and take a look at what's happening in the real world. Then there's people that will say, you've been talking about this for years, and I have. And it continues to get worse and worse and worse. Now we have multiple wars going on. Taiwan will be next. We have 40-year high inflation. In fact, we don't even know what the inflation is at this point because the numbers are so bogus, right? Some people say it's, 3.5%, the official number. Some say it's 8, 10, 12, 20. Who knows? We can't get the real numbers. We have more debt and higher deficits than ever before. This whole Petrodollar agreement now that has expired and will not be renewed is going to be a very, very big deal down the road at some point, because there are new financial systems taking over. Countries are going to exchange gold, other currencies, digital currencies, you name it. They're going to deal without the US dollar. Cities in America now are war zones. We have never seen these type of crimes, chaos, this lawlessness. We've never seen it. Again, $35+ trillion in debt, and people think that the economy is doing well, or when's the collapse going to happen? Wake up call, please. The collapse is happening right now. When you have $35 trillion in debt, when you're running huge deficits of over $1 trillion, when 80% of your country is working paycheck or living paycheck to paycheck, when 70% of your GDP is based on consumption, where Americans are buying stuff with money they don't have, when people's household income is 10 to 1 on the price of a house, unsustainable. I mean, some people, if you live in Orange County, the average household income is a little over $100,000 a year, but the average house is around $940,000, $950,000. That's 9 times the average income. That does not add up. That is completely unsustainable. But this is happening in many areas where, somebody might have a household income of $100,000 and they have to pay $500,000 for a house. 5 times their income. It's unsustainable. There's no way you can look at this economy and with a straight face say it is not collapsing. Take a look at the homeless crisis. Take a look at how many people are coming in here and getting free stuff. How long is that going to last? 20% of the hotel rooms in New York are by the so-called newcomers, the immigrants. Who's paying for this? Your taxes are going up and you're getting much less. But the debts are absolutely enormous. The political uncertainty, the wars, the inflation, the cost to buy a house, the cost to buy a car, the cost of rent, go to the grocery store, things are completely out of control. Some people will sit here and tell me, hey, it's going to get better soon. Don't worry, nothing to worry about. If you look at what is taking place right now, and can tell me it's going to get better soon, based on what? We are so broke. We are so, as a nation, stretched all over the world. Now, the petrodollar has expired. Here's another problem too. We don't make anything. And I was talking to my friend John last night in Florida, and we were just talking about how in the world do we get out of this collapse when we don't make and produce anything here in America? How do we do it? I mean, you cannot do it with having nursing jobs or social assistance jobs and leisure and hospitality jobs and government jobs. Your top 3 job sectors now. Social assistance and healthcare. Leisure and hospitality, government. Those are your top 3 job sectors now in America. How in the world, as now the petrodollar agreement has expired, and your top 3 sectors are healthcare, government jobs, and leisure and hospitality. We are just not going to have enough people making coffees and cheeseburgers and French fries and folding towels at the resort to get out of this. We're in big trouble. And the sooner, here's a word of advice today. Admit to yourself that we're in big trouble. Admit that this nation is bankrupt. Admit that we're in a collapse right now. And once you can admit that things are broken, then you may take some action and prepare for what is about to happen. Now, I don't know if that's going to be tomorrow, next week, next month, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, or 5 days from now. I don't know. But you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that all this stuff that is happening right now is not going to help the nation. It is hurting the nation, and it is going to continue to crush the middle class. It's going to crush small businesses. It's going to destroy the poor. And so how is this all going to be resolved? I don't see how it is. I think we're heading in to a very, very deep depression that is going to last a very, very long time. So you can deny all this stuff. You can say that it's going to be over soon. You can sit here and say, I've been talking about this collapse for years, even though things have been collapsing for years. I mean, for 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, I was doing the retail apocalypse videos because of all these stores that were shutting down. They had to, over the health crisis, juice the markets and the economy with trillions of dollars, which now we're going to pay for. But people still believe, because the stock market is up and bullish and at all-time highs, that everybody's doing well and the economy's booming. Good luck with that. The hedge today, 2/3 of small business owners worried that the president's economy will kill their business. 46% of workers in this country are employed by small businesses. That is 61.6 million people. Small businesses are being strangled by regulations, which cost over $1 trillion in just the past few months. Another concern for small businesses, obviously, inflation. Tomorrow we will get the inflation report. It will probably be very, very bogus, as they usually are. Whether it's up or down, it's going to be bogus. But let me know your thoughts. Where's the inflation ever going to come in tomorrow? Is it going to increase? Will it decrease? Or is it going to stay flat? I have no idea. In the real world, I would say inflation is going up, but we don't live in the real world. We live in this very artificial, manipulated world where they throw all these numbers. They use these formulas to get the numbers that they want. So it'll be interesting to see what numbers they want tomorrow. Wolfstreet.com. Used car wholesale prices continue plunge. Gave up 59% of the health crisis spike, but still up 35% from January 2020. EVs up 72%, and combustion engine vehicles up 34%. I would say this, as I was, looking at cars last week when I was getting an oil change, and I shot a video. Let these dealers sit. They can choke on this stuff. Prices are so ridiculous right now. They have come down. It says here compact trucks are up 70% since 2020. Full-size pickups up 39%. SUVs up 30%. Compact cars are up 20%. Auto insurance up 44% since January of 2022. So things are still overpriced. They have come down, but they're still overpriced. And that's what I'm seeing with properties I'm looking at too, is I'm seeing a lot of properties coming down in price, but they're so jacked up from 2020 that even though they've come down, maybe a $40,000, $50,000 price reduction, $20,000, they're still completely overpriced. So I say let the sellers choke on this stuff, let the car dealers choke on this stuff, because at some point reality is coming. The administration to ban medical debt from credit reports. ABC News says the administration will propose today a rule to ban medical debt from credit reports. This rule could go into effect next year. Comment down below. How do you feel about this? I think medical debt is horrible. I think what they charge people for medical services is disgusting. But should this debt be on a credit report? What's next? I mean, people aren't paying student loan debt. We pay for that. Now, medical debt's not going to be put on a credit report. I don't know how I feel about this. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. But I just think that this opens up a door for, what, hey, you didn't make your car payments. We're not going to put it on there. Oh, you got evicted. You didn't pay your mortgage. Nah, we don't need to put it on there. So everybody will have good credit when they really don't. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. If this administration is doing it, it's probably not a good thing. Just my thoughts. Shifting gears here a little bit on these last few articles. I was watching this video, this coming from The Hedge, Monday, 4 a.m. in the morning, 50 people looted an AutoZone in Los Angeles after a street takeover. If you don't know what a street takeover is, they're very popular out here, where hundreds of people will literally shut down a street, an intersection, and these people are just drifting and doing donuts, in the middle of an intersection at 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And apparently when they were done with all of this, with this lawlessness, they walked over to an AutoZone. This is in South Los Angeles, 4 o'clock in the morning. And 50 people broke into the store and took whatever they wanted. It's almost embarrassing to be an American and just watch this behavior, because the rest of the world is watching this. You want to know why they're dumping dollars. You want to know why they're losing respect for America. You want to know why they're dumping bonds, because they watch the leadership, they watch the lawlessness, and it's just unbelievable. I can't even believe, like, to look at this country 20, 30 years ago and to see where we're at right now. We are falling very, very quickly, and not just financially, not just economically, but morally. I mean, to just break into a store 4 o'clock in the morning and just take whatever you want, on top of just shutting down an intersection and just acting like a bunch of a-holes. Absolutely disgusting, hideous behavior, in my opinion. But now, you're the criminal, because this next article, speed cameras in Atlanta improperly issued $300,000 to $500,000 worth of tickets. You're the criminal because you drove 10 miles over the speed limit. They're going to get you because, Big Brother, AI, watching you with a speed camera. Apparently, they don't care about hundreds of people shutting down intersections at 4 o'clock in the morning and breaking into an AutoZone. I believe they also broke into 3 other surrounding stores too. But no, they're going to get you, the taxpayer, the law-abiding citizen who you were driving 10 miles over the speed limit. You're going to pay the price. These people can do whatever they want to do, steal whatever they want to do, be as lawless as they want to be. Nothing will happen to them. But you're going to pay that $100, $200, $300 speeding ticket. Last article from the LA Times. Many of you probably heard about this last week, and I've been meaning to talk about it. I keep forgetting to. But again, this is the morality. This is society today. Think about when people don't get food. If those government checks don't show up and they miss 3 meals, think about how bad it will get where you live. LA Times. Thieves are stealing LA County fire hydrants by the hundreds. Over 300 fire hydrants since 2023 have been stolen. And they're saying that so far this year in 2024, it is really, really ramping up, and they cannot stop this epidemic of fire hydrants being stolen. These things are made out of, I think, like cast iron. I mean, I don't know what they're worth, but this is a federal offense, and 302 fire hydrants since 2023 have been stolen. And this takes some type of effort to do this. Now, some of the fire hydrants, the water is going all over the place. Could you imagine in your area somebody steals a fire hydrant and now you don't have a fire hydrant there and there's a fire? These people don't care. I don't even know what could a fire hydrant possibly be worth that people go through this much trouble and then jeopardize the safety of people living in these areas, businesses in these areas. It's a federal offense. You could go to prison. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If people are willing to go to this extent to steal a fire hydrant, what extent would they go to if they were hungry? You think that they wouldn't come to your house and break your door down? You think that they wouldn't come and take your food, your assets, hurt your family? If people are willing to do this right now, right now, what are they going to be willing to do when it really gets bad? These are the things that everybody should be asking themselves right now, sitting down with their families and having a plan that if that door got breached, nobody cares about the alarm, nobody cares about the cameras, that door gets breached, what are you going to do about it? Is your family prepared to deal with that? These are serious questions, and these are scary times and scary topics, but I think it's more important to be prepared and talk about it and deal with it now instead of waiting for something to happen and not be prepared. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. The petrodollar situation is a big deal. And I'm really shocked that there is really no coverage on any of the financial channels. There's very little coverage even on the internet. You can Google it. It's legit. It's for real. but nobody's talking about the ramifications now of the petrodollar agreement expiring. This country's in trouble, and the world's losing respect. The world is sick of the weaponization of the U.S. dollar. The world is sick of the sanctions. I can't even. I don't know. I think we have 9,000, if I'm correct, 9,000 sanctions across the globe right now. We are not very liked, ladies and gentlemen, and the world has had enough of it. And we're not going to be able to defeat the world. We might be able to go into a small country in the Middle East and push our weight around. But we are not going to push our weight around with 20 countries, 50 countries, 80 countries, countries that have huge militaries, nuclear warheads, countries that have huge militaries, lots of technology, that really aren't fearing America like they did maybe 10 or 20 years ago. Those days are over. Question is, what do things look like when we start feeling the effect of the petrodollar expiration? I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know how extreme those effects are going to be. I think it's going to get pretty extreme. Another reason why I bought more gold yesterday. But look what the central banks are doing. They're stockpiling gold. Look what these countries are doing. They're dumping bonds, and they're buying gold after they dump the bond. They're dumping bonds, and they're buying physical gold. Countries, governments, central banks, what are they getting ready for? What do they know? They're building up their oil reserves like China, food reserves like China. Russia's making money hand over fist, selling oil all over the world. Things are definitely changing quickly. So do your homework, be prepared. God bless all of you, and make sure you're praying for this country, because this is going to be big trouble for America. Stay safe. God bless.